Okay, I don't usually make videos like this. I'll never do, actually. The only reason I'm doing it right now is because I'm a little fed up and tired with all the talk with regards to this new Hellraiser Hulu reboot movie thing, whatever you want to call it, movie sequel. And I wanted to watch the trailer and go through all of my concerns and pain points with the film, because there are plenty. I'm not going to go back and go through things that are before this or prior to this, but basically I've been concerned since the promotions for it started, since some of the initial artwork came out, and then I became extremely concerned when they released the snippet teaser score, which was terrible. Just a bunch of weird noises, not really score, nothing really composed, just a bunch of really just garbage. Hellraiser has a very distinct sound, very distinct presence. It's meant to be grandiose and big and all that, and frankly, the score scared me. But anyway, I'm going to start the trailer right now. I will shut up briefly and pause and talk about certain things that annoy the hell out of me, and then kind of go from there. Alright, let's start this. Number one, Hulu.
Beautiful.
It's on Hulu only. If this movie was going to be absolutely stellar, it would definitely with horror, get a theatrical release. That is mad cash in the bank. There's no reason to not put a good horror film in theaters. Especially this time of year, you would delay it a little bit more, or you'd release it exactly when they're releasing this on Hulu in theaters. You would just do that because it would easily gross X amount of dollars if it's any good. She get praise from critics. It would be an immediate win for them. So that's kind of one big thing that concerns me. I'll mention right now. Number two, the puzzle box. It's not the original puzzle box. It's fine. I'm not sure why they had to change it. They did. And then this guy, sleeveless bro dude looking guy from like the late 90s with no sleeves and a chain around his neck, looking weird at the puzzle box like it's something ridiculous, with his mouth halfway open. I'm sorry, it's just a piece of art, effectively, sitting there. Why is he so like enthralled by it? A little over the top. He shouldn't know enough about it. It's a little weird. Also, the setting. Where is he? It's like he's in like some mansion somewhere that just evil lurks around every corner. Ridiculous. Just over the top. Over the top.
Isn't it?
It's really nice.
You can hold it.
Why? Like, who cares? I'm confused by this. Are we actually in a museum? This is a little bit bizarre. The lighting is odd. It's strange. Why aren't we, like, who is this guy enticing him to use the puzzle box? Why is he doing that? I don't understand any of the details. And maybe you say, wait for the movie, but this is just bizarre. This isn't really a Hellraiser mantra. Usually it's very clear and concise about what's going on and the motivations for characters. And we don't see any of that besides weird-looking dude from late 90s and man in suit trying to get him to play with the puzzle box. What's the motivation? What's the goals? Why is the puzzle box different? We don't know. That's why I'm saying this is really a complete reboot, I think. They want to segue to other films. They mentioned people talk about like multiple dimensions, other crazy stuff like that. Again, I'm so tired of the multiple dimensions thing. It's so stupid. Stop doing that in movies. If that's what's in this, it's just garbage, basically. Don't do that. Because it means that it's not the same context that the fans fell in love with back in the day. It's its own original thing. Should have written its own story and been its own thing. Anyway, I'm continuing. And what is this building? I get that in Part 4 Bloodlines that there was buildings built with, the configuration was in it and part of it, and maybe that's what this building is, but why? And then also, why does it look like it's like dusk? Like, I don't understand the lighting here. Hellraiser did have darker elements. Generally speaking, they were very contrast to brighter elements. This is just being color graded like a dull, neutral, flat-looking film so far, and I don't think Hellraiser was that. Anyway.
What is it?
It's a puzzle. And it's almost finished.
And then we're here now, like, there's doors opening, they're solving a puzzle. Why is it like people are eating dinner or something with the glasses and stuff? Why is there some I don't understand, like, oh, it's a puzzle. It's creepy. You can touch it and solve it. It's like, why? You like, someone sought it out before, clearly, right? Frank dealt with that, looked for it, hunted it down, knew he knew what he was after, and was warned about it too. Not necessarily enticed. So that's where things get kind of weirder. In some ways, I'm expecting it to be more like 2, because 2, you had the doctor literally trying to get someone else to solve it for them, but that person did not summon them that solved it. It was the doctor, and they knew that, which will come up to my annoyances with that in a moment.
Go in. So if I solve it, do I get a prize? I do.
Prize? Was he like a 5-year-old? Like, what is that? Like, are you kidding me? It just sounds so goofy. Like, really? And look at the more bro dude late nights. He's got the leather around his wrist. He's got the other little band there. This guy is from the 90s. Does this movie take place in the 90s? I guess it could. I don't know. Anyway. Which ends now to my next thing. This guy had no interest in solving the box. He thought he was going to get a prize. He wasn't motivated for what the box, or this, whatever you want to call this, was going to bring to him. Last I checked, Cenobites, in Hellraiser, the otherly world, hell, whatever, doesn't come for you. It comes for that in which one of the box solves. So, again, this is a bit strange to me. Emo hair, anyway. And since when does the box drink the blood? I mean, cool shot and all, but this isn't even the box. The design's different, which irritates me on top of that. It looks cheap, like a 3D printed prop. Honestly, it looks more like, here I have a openable, solvable puzzle box that I got online. I have another one that I don't have with me that's actually made of wood with metal inlays. It's really, really nice. But just the design here is a little bit silly and over the top. I get that they want to make it feel more mechanical, but Hellraiser was never very mechanical. That's something that's very much in line with Aliens, not Hellraiser, which is, again, other problems I have later on which annoy me. So, continuing.
What's your deal? It has 6 sides.
Clyde Barker is here as a producer, and I do not want to be mean to him. I think he's a fantastic, creative individual, but I really feel like, unless they prove me wrong, that he is here as a producer to get a paycheck, and a paycheck only to use his name. I do not feel like he has been heavily involved creatively. I just don't believe it, because, again, he was so good with what he did in his original movies, right? He was definitely involved creatively. Between Clyde and Tony, the first 2 are exceptional, and quite literally, his involvement's clear. Now, people talk about this movie also being more accurate to his original work. Well, I don't really care the original novella, because, quite frankly, if you can have the person who wrote the novella adapt it to screen, they can be different. Almost every movie is, but it's amazing when you have the original creator to make changes or adaptations to the screen, because sometimes, I hate to say it, if you're going to tell a story, the way in which you tell the story dictates how you should tell it and what the story should be sometimes to convey the same idea. What you write in a book does not always translate perfectly to screen, so you must make some concessions to it. That being said, I also think the best actor, best cast, best crew, and best group of people you can get to work on the film are critical. And I fully believe that that's how Clive used to work. I don't know that that's true anymore. But anyway, it concerns me. I think he's here in name mostly only, just to get the fans all razzed up, not to actually bring anything of major value, just to cash in a paycheck. And I hate saying that, but I feel like that's true.
6 configurations. It opens up.
The configurations was definitely part of the story. I'm not going to debate that. It wasn't something that was written down in a book. Like, who the hell wrote this book? Like, I don't know who wrote this book. The book is really funny because, like, if you read some of the lines in it, it's, like, kind of goofy. Like, who wrote this? And how did this person, like, wait for the movie, I know, but, like, again, nothing was ever structured like this in a way. We don't need instructions. We don't need to be told. We want to be shown. I think the Hellraiser does that very well. You don't need to explain to us how this works. Just show us it working. Jeez, like, it seems like it's almost like they've gone back in time. It's like they want us to read a book. I don't want to read a book. I want to watch a movie. Don't use exposition from a handwritten book that doesn't make any sense, because who would have written it? Because they would have solved and understood the box. Anyway, it annoys me. It doesn't make any sense. And also, what's about to be said is even less logical, which bothers me even more.
And it cuts you.
It opens up and it cuts you. What? What? No. So, I don't remember this being a part of anything in the lore, in the novella. I don't remember it. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. I'm probably off on something here. But it definitely is not part of the original movies. It doesn't cut you. I mean, yeah, maybe sometimes chains came out of it, or other things happened with it, or it became a gateway or a portal or something, but it wasn't mechanically going to cut you. And also, this is a CGI blade thingy coming out. Stop with the CGI, which we'll get to later.
And then they come to collect.
And then they come to collect. No, they just come to collect. There is no, it cuts you. Like, why does that even matter? Maybe in the story it does. It'll be really stupid if it does, because usually you're immediately collected. You're not waiting to be collected, you're just collected. It happens then, right then and there. Never have they like, oh, we're just gonna wait in the darkness in the back and creep around and come and get you really good. No, they try to get you immediately. They only happen for like once where they haven't immediately gotten you because they had to figure out who they were actually looking for, which is fine. They don't have to be completely omnipotent, but at the same point in time, they can at least have otherworldly senses, which they clearly do in Cenobites, I'm referring to, in the original movies. So anyway, continuing to press play. By the way, Cenobites, I will give credit where credit's due. Looks great. I don't think that it's fantastic. I think that they look a lot more stolen from, Event Horizon, a lot more Giger style influences here, mechanical. Again, it was more about leather and bondage and that kind of element. These look more like tortured things that are machines now, rather than like what used to be some semblance of humanity, which I personally think is very critical, because after the second film it's made clear, which I think it kind of made sense in the first film too, but that these things were people. Now if they change that, wow, I don't even know what to say there. I hope they don't change that, but they have to have humanity. They don't have any semblance of humanity, they're less scary, because they literally should be able to understand what they're doing and what they want in their whole processes, which makes them more frightening. If you just make them machines, this isn't the Terminator, okay?
It's time. Greater delights.
Okay, voice. I don't care who's playing Pinhead. I do, but I don't. It just needs to be the best person for the job. That's all I care about. So if this person does a great job, I don't care. Don't market to me about who the person is, because frankly, unless it's our favorite, no one cares. We really don't. We want the original back. And if we don't get the original, well, whoever you're replacing them with, I don't care who they are. They just better do a really good job, because they probably can never do as good. Never. That being said, since when does, and again, this sounds silly, but having recently watched, last year we had Ghostbusters Afterlife come out, hearing Gozer's voice again. Why does Pinhead sound like Gozer? I don't understand that. It doesn't need to sound like Gozer. It should sound mostly like the actor, not like Gozer, which it doesn't sound like the actor at all. Anyway, pressing play.
Wait. We wish to see you proceed.
Or even worse, it sounds like the frickin' Borg Queen. It sounds like the Borg. Why? It definitely sounds like Borg. I didn't think of that till right now. Borg, Gozer, mix, blah. Its voice sounds stupid and over the top and not definable, and certainly not something that I find scary because it has no gravitas. It needs to have that intensity and bigness, just like the original films had, with score, character, style, tone. This one just feels like a lot of CGI, a lot of dark color grading, very boring looking. It looks, honestly, the visuals in general look very similar to that Resident Evil movie that just came out that flopped, sadly. It wasn't very good, but the visuals look very similar in color and style and tone. It just doesn't have any of its own flair. There was definitely, like I said before, contrast in Hellraiser back in the day. This movie doesn't seem like it's going to have that. It's just going to all look like you're in hell constantly, which maybe they are. I don't know. We'll find out, but it doesn't look right.
Feed it.
And the puzzle box, like, solving itself, I guess it kind of changed. It's by itself at one point. I don't know. But it never did anything too weird unless you were in hell. So it changed once in 3, but 3 was questionable, right? So I don't know. I'm just gonna continue with that. I'll let that go. But again, that puzzle box is moving in the same room. So was it that it got solved by dude at the beginning, the bro dude with the cut off sleeves, and then because he was taken away, the puzzle then evolved to its next state, and you got to collect 5 people? I mean, is this like 13 ghosts or something going on here? I don't know, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that you've got this grouping of things occurring. It's bizarre, and I feel like it's all going to happen in one place and mostly CGI from the rest of it. I don't know. Just saying. It's not. This is like turning into a haunted house movie, kind of, which concerns me. Again, more trying to be better than the original in dialogue from Pinhead. It isn't going to work because there's no intensity behind it. It's just seething in the darkness. We don't need that. We need big and grandiose and we need large and big, and we don't have that here. We just have some quiet meeping in the background of I am scary, and then just no, it doesn't. I don't think it works.
Their blood.
Lots of people screaming. Scream! We're here! This is totally not Saw. Why are people screaming? At what? For what? Like, oh my god, like, it's like a stupid trope. People are screaming. That didn't, like, what is this? This is not meant to be that kind of horror movie. If anything, it should really be more thriller, in my opinion, but regardless. Their pain. Why their pain? I don't know. Is it pain? Or is it pleasure? Again, there's a defining line here. I don't know. Pain was not a motivator. The pleasure was. So why would Pinhead be talking about pain? I don't, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. It's not what it should be saying. Their pleasure, makes more sense because that's really the idea behind the original storylines, right? Anyway.
All for us.
And here's Pinhead. So for us, why for us? I don't remember them ever. That doesn't make any sense here. Like, they were just after, like, fulfilling, like, I don't want to use the word, but I'll use it, like a genie in a bottle, fulfilling your wish. I don't see why for them, like, you're not really doing anything for them. It's you're summoning them for you. It's always been a selfish motivation, which they've never done otherwise. But that's something they should have done. But regardless, it's selfish. That's the whole idea. And this is making it sound like they're summoning it and we're going to take their pain and we're going to enjoy their suffering. It's like, and I know that, a waste of good suffering, but it's more the perception on the person. So it should be pushed back to the person requesting them come. That it should be suffering that they want. That's their pleasure. Not the other way around. It sounds like they're trying to eat them. And, like, I don't know why Pinhead, like, it doesn't sound like, they're trying to give them what they asked for. It sounds like they're going to eat them. And, like, Pinhead and Cenobites, they are not monsters. I'll just be clear. They are not monsters. They are facsimiles of people's desire and wishes, and selfishness in a lot of ways. making them into monsters that just want to eat you and want to make you suffer. Again, that's epically bad. Don't do that. But it sounds like they're going to go that way, and I don't think that's a good idea. Now, how does Pinhead look? Pinhead looks okay. Where's some leather? We're missing some leather. There's a little bit too much going on, I think, in the neck. And also what concerns me, the lighting. This, honestly, how this is lit looks like crap. It should be brighter. We should be able to see the red and the detail in all the parts and make it more graphic. Maybe they couldn't do that for the trailer because it would be R. Give us the R trailer then, the red band trailer. But this doesn't look good in and of itself. It doesn't look torturous. You know, the lines in between all the pins and stuff, they're not highlighted. Nothing looks like it's like torturous in some way, or it's a semblance of you know, Pinhead's desire. I think there's an issue here with that. Also, the biomechanical stuff, the stuff in the neck, I have a problem with that. Like, why? There just doesn't make sense. It's not part, in my opinion, that should be there. It should be all organic. Maybe that's what they wanted originally, but they couldn't do it. I don't know. I don't think it's that great. I think that, generally speaking, this character looks good, but I don't think that it's up to par with what you would want to see if you wanted to see a continuation or a new rendition. Again, they're saying this is a whole different reality. If it is, then this just kind of sucks anyway. Who cares? It's not really Hellraiser. It's just some spin-off thing. Anyway, continuing.
What is it you pray for?
CGI chains. Just no CGI chains. It should all be practical. Absolutely GTFO with that. Complete hot garbage. Should never have CGI chains. Come on. Do things practically. There's no excuse to not do it practically. The shot really is just terrible. And more screaming. That's my biggest gripe, complaints with this whole thing. October 7th, we'll find out what happens. Don't get your hopes up. Again, also, we did not, for the whole thing, we're not going to get the original score. It seems like they're just not going to include that. Maybe they wouldn't pay for the continuation of the rights, and there were rights issues with it. Anyway, guys, that's my hot take on this thing. I know it was a little bit longer than I thought it would be. Subscribe, like below. I don't do videos like this very often. If you like the videos, please let me know. Maybe I'll respond more impromptu, but I have done a fan film based on Hellraiser called Hellraiser What's Your Pleasure. You can find it online. I know that what I did is not perfect. I tried to continue the story in some way that I had not thought had been done, and try to do it all practically. And obviously I didn't have any budget. I had a great crew and team working on it as friends and for fun. I was happy with how it turned out. It definitely is like the opening to what would be a feature-length film. But yeah, I have a little bit tighter closeness to this in a lot of ways, even though I don't want to call myself a huge fan of Hellraiser in ways, but I care a lot for the like the style of how it's told. So I value that a lot. I think it was great, deep, intellectually smart, especially the first two films. So anyway, thanks guys, subscribe, like, and leave me a comment. See you in the next one. Bye.